Um, so this is your boy Sosa Banks. Um, I will be making this video. This is basically my first YouTube video. I will be going through. I'm going to break down what I'm expecting today on BTC, XAUUSD, on US30, and Nasdaq. So I only trade New York session. Sometimes I may be trading out of session, but I mainly trade these three assets, BTC sometimes. And when I have clear setups, I go over a few forex pairs, but I don't trade mainly. I do mostly is swing trade or even day trade. That's mainly what I do on those assets. So I'll be going through what I'm expecting on US30. So US30 basically has been going up like all the time. Indexes in since 2025 they've been going up like very strongly. So I'm expecting today on US30, prices based on the daily time frame, prices moving to the upside and going to H4. We do have higher highs and higher low points being made, and price came to it was 52,000, and it was the time that price decided to start making a retracement. So when price is about to make a retracement, what I need to do, I need to wait for my support level so that when price gets there, I'm going to wait for a transition in lower time frames so that I can capitalize off my entry. So what I see on US30 is price is retracing, probably on M1, H1, M30. We see that price is making a retracement, which is a counter trend. So around this price, which is around this level of support, using fee from my lowest point to the highest point, we do have this is a 38% level of it correlates with this level of support, and we do have 50% this zone, 50%. What I'm expecting is price so that price in M15, M30, or even on H1 makes a transition around this point during New York session, so that I can capitalize off my entry. One of these two, it depends on how price makes the transition, so that I can use my confluences based on higher time frames, which would be my EMAs and Fibonacci, even trend lines. But the mainly trend line that price is already broken is this one. So I I want to see if price has some type of momentum so that it can and touch the EMAs so that we're gonna wave up to the upside. And so the main thing for me is structure, support levels of support and resistance. That's how I under, go about my entries. Looking into M15, M30, we see that price is creating higher low points, but it's still not the thing. I want to see price breaking this high so that it can maybe in New York session come to take a zone so they can start waving to the upside. That's what I'm expecting on US30. Um, I would say this is Nasdaq. Based on the daily time frame, price has been going up. It's been price is basically going to the upside on the daily, the weekly time frame also. Going to H4, I do see that H4 is also going to the upside. Broke structure, made a retracement. I lost this entry. I should have gotten to around this point, but I didn't have enough information around this point that so that I can capitalize off the entry. So I did not. I didn't have the entry because of that. Going to H1 because I do know right now the daily is on an uptrend. The H4 is on an uptrend. The H1 is also on an uptrend. And this is the point where H1 or even M30 correlates with the higher time frame, telling me that price is going to the upside. So I did not have this entry because price is not in session. So when New York session opens, probably my entry is going to be around this point because I want to see price coming to take to take this level, or sometimes people might call it sweep or something like that. I might have my entry and I will see if it correlates with my confluences in lower frame, because on a higher time frame perspective my EMAs don't give me too much information. So I will, based on structure wise, I see that price is giving me the information that I need, but not everything that you're going to use on your chart is going to create a very strict confluence, you know. So that's what I'm expecting today on Nasdaq. Going to gold, and gold has been on a downtrend for a while. And one of the setups that I got into was this one last week. I got into this setup because price broke structure on H1. When price made a retracement, even though it was not exactly in session, I knew that gold can move in any session, so I knew the setup was valid. So right now, price is basically waving to the downside on H4 into the day. The time frame is basically waving to the downside. So maybe if gold gives me something different, if it maybe changes the trend and gives me something very compact, I'm going to change the bias. But right now the H4 is showing me that price is waving to the downside. Going to H1. H1, the only thing that I would say price is doing right now, it's making a retracement, but I don't think that price is going to react like, I don't think price is going to respect this level, because based on M15 we still we started making the retracement that I'm expecting. This means I'm waiting for a retracement. So my level of interest is around 4,220. If New York session gives me a transition around this point, I will be having my entry around this point. So I will be using my confluences with the Fibonacci in my EMAs. This would be a very good setup. So it would be something like this. I would be basing my target from this low to my projection, which would be 4,100. So this would be the main thing that I will be expecting in gold until it shows me something different. If gold decides to go up, it will create a structure, do something like this and break, so that I can change my bias. So right now the H4, the H1 is waving to the downside. This is just M15 or even M30 structure. So I don't, yeah, it's a setup because I could have got into this based on I would say M15, M5. I could have got into this, or even seeing from M30 perspective, I could have got into this entry, but this is not what I'm waiting for. So I will just be keep tracking the lows until price does what I'm expecting, so they can sell. And on BTC, okay, on BTC based on the daily time frame, BTC has been, I would say, it's been going down for a while. So price came into this 60,000 level. It had a reaction. So I think when price comes to a very key level, we don't have a reason to sell. We sell high, we buy low. So I don't need mainly the daily structure. I would say I was basing everything based on H4. The H4 gives us a break of structure, with I would say is this one, and then price start making a retracement. So my work is on this retracement, and my entry is going to be based around this point, because I do know above this level we do have buying momentum. So if price stays and correlates the time frames, which already did, I will have my entries depending on the point that price is going to give me a clear entry. I'll have my target around this high, or based on my projection, because that's how I base my targets, based on projections. So this is my negative 27% projection. That's mainly where I'm going to be basing my target, the high and the projection. So after price made the indication or price started correcting, which would be on H1 M30. This retracement was happening mainly on H1 M30. So filtering what price was doing, lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high. I don't take structure as one time frame. I like to understand it in multiple time frames. So price came into this level, this low high. Price failed to break structure first, created this little lower high, made a break of structure, and this is a one move hand, but it started low. So I knew that the main level that price broke is this level here. So that's why I was expecting price to come and take the level so that my entry could be around this point. But price already came and I was not on the chart. Maybe I could have got into this entry. So from what I saw, I went to M15 because I know now the H1 is on an uptrend. H1 M30, I would say, is on an uptrend. So I'm expecting price to give me a clear entry, which would be above this H4 level. Going to M15, I saw price created lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high. It created a drop. Then price made a break of structure on M15. This shows me that around this point, price is telling me that it wants to start moving to the upside. So on H4, I had this big candlestick. I was in doubt. I was like, I lost the entry, blah blah blah. But when I went to M15, I saw this one. So I can get into this entry, but I don't really feel comfortable yet because I feel like price can come to this level of support again. So seeing if I could take advantage of it right now. M30 price already above the EMAs. Let's see H1. I would say I need to wait a little bit more because price still consolidating around this point a little bit going to the daily. I don't think today price is going to have enough momentum to take price to the next high. I think price is going to take a little bit of time. I will be monitoring the trade, the setup so that I can take advantage of it. Later on I will be uploading another video if I got it to another entry or something like that. And for the next videos I will be telling how I trade, what I look for on the chart and stuff like that. So thank you.